how an ancient rock found its way from Mars and it got to Earth after billions of years, to have this rock tell the people of America and the world an amazing story.
With those words from Daniel Golden, the NASA administrator, space and space travel became hot news again. 13,000 years ago, a meteorite fell to Earth from Mars. It was found in Antarctica in the mid-1980s. But just recently, with a new high-powered microscope, scientists learned the meteorite contains what appears to be a fossil of a very tiny bacteria. It suggests there may, repeat may, have been very primitive life on Mars 3.6 billion years ago. Now, are those microscopic images enough reason for man to try to go to Mars? With me to talk about that, Apollo 11's Buzz Aldrin, Apollo 17's Harrison Schmitt, Valerie Neal from the Smithsonian Air and Space Museum. And by the way, you can still call us, 1-800-979-3393. And joining us now on the telephone to talk about this Mars possible fossil find and our objectives in space is the Associate Administrator for Policy and Plans for NASA, Alan Ladwig. Mr. Ladwig, hi.
Hey, David.
How are you?
Good.
Good. How much did this, what we just showed and talked about, this possible fossil from the meteorite from Mars, energize your programs?
Well, I think it energized tremendously. And it wasn't just this Mars fossils, but it's also what we've been finding out on Europa, one of the moons of Jupiter, with the potential of liquid water that might be under the ice crust there. The recent discovery by different telescopes in Hubble of planets and other solar systems, the pillars of creation that Hubble found, where we found these evaporating gaseous globules, the eggs, which are the embryonic stars in formation, the possibility of water under the poles of the moon, all the public excitement about the Shoemaker-Levy comet impact on Jupiter, the things that have been happening with the shuttle and the Mir space station docking, the advances in aeronautics, the understanding of the ozone because of our mission to planet Earth. I mean, NASA is on a roll of discovery over the past couple years that is pretty awesome to be involved with, and I think is showing the public the value of the space program.
All right. What are your priorities then? To what extent has this possible fossil find from Mars suggested to you, okay, we're going to do more in the area of Mars. We're going to think about sending human beings to Mars. That part of your plan and program or not?
Well, NASA has a strategic plan that goes out to the year 2020, and we've had one of the four enterprises, or the main reasons we're in business. One of those is space science, which takes care of our robotic exploration. Another is the human exploration program. Another is aeronautics. And the fourth is mission to planet Earth. So within the space science enterprise, we've had a plan of Mars discovery and exploration, and we have 10 missions lined up over the next 10 years. Now, the excitement or the difference that the fossil find will make on this is, should we accelerate any of these things? Should we try to have a sample return mission, for example, sooner than we had planned? Where do humans and a human mission fit into this mix?
What are the answers to those questions you just asked?
Well, we're still asking them. I mean, this is all, I mean, the announcement about the fossil just took place in August. Right. So our strategic plan has been under development for the past couple years. We will have a space summit, or the administration under President Clinton is sponsoring a space summit with leaders of Congress and NASA officials to discuss what do all these findings mean and how do we accommodate this within the current budget situation that we have. Can we do the things that the American public wants out of its space program, plus do these new exciting things that have happened because we've been successful with our discovery? How
do you go about doing that? How do you justify the things that you want to do in space exploration? How do you justify the costs of that given all these other priorities that we have as a nation and or we have in the world?
Well, for one thing, we're talking about $1 trillion federal budget. NASA's budget is about $13.7 billion. That's 1/7 of 1% of the federal budget. At the high point of the Apollo program, and if your audience was watching the movie earlier tonight, at the high point of our ability to do those things, we were at 4.5% of the federal budget. So we're dealing now with a much lower budget profile, yet we have all these new opportunities because of new technologies, because of discoveries that have occurred, because of the contributions we're making to the economy, to education, to the environment, to exploration and discovery. I don't think we have to apologize for any of the money that has been spent for NASA.
I wasn't asking you to.
We are an agency that has an impact on the public of the past, the present, and the future, and I don't know of many other federal agencies that can make that claim, and certainly can't make it for the dollar value that they're getting out of NASA.
Alan Ladwig, thank you very much. Good to have you with us tonight.
Thank you.
Thanks. And we have a phone call from Mike in Arizona. Mike, hi.
Good evening. How are you tonight?
Well, how are you?
Good. First of all, let me say I grew up with the space program, and I'm a great supporter of it. But my question, and I think it's maybe been answered already a little bit, is to Mr. Schmidt. And basically what I'm wondering, if we spend the kind of money that we're trying to spend for the next 10 years, what kind of benefits are we going to reap by going to Mars and coming back?
Mike, I view it somewhat differently than just a trip to Mars. I'm looking at how the human species establishes itself in this part of the solar system beyond the Earth. And the way you do that is by bridging to the moon first. And once you are capable of living and working on the moon, then you have enabled yourself to go to Mars, and for whatever purposes one might have. The primary one, I think, is settlement. The next great human adventure for the species is the settlement of the moon and Mars. That is the adventure. The practicality of it is that we're going to need the resources that the moon has, particularly the energy resources here on Earth. We can get into that maybe later, but there are those resources. It looks as if that they are sufficient, that the private sector may well be the group that makes it possible. We do have budget priorities. I've been there. I know what is thinking in the Congress is all about. And NASA is going to have a very difficult time, as is all discretionary spending, in justifying to the Congress the expenditure of any kind of dollars as the entitlement programs begin to make their demands.
Thank you for that call. Thanks, Jack. And Buzz Aldrin had a big ticker tape parade in New York when he came back from the moon. There probably will not be a ticker tape parade for our first heroes returning from Mars, because they're robots, and we're going to meet one live and in person next after this.